Got it. Admit all. So everybody must be joining now. Welcome, Sahala. Good to see you. So everybody can hear me. Welcome all today with this session of leadership skills, where we selected some leaders from different backgrounds and different personalities. Today is a situation where me, with my personal website, Skills to Max, where I'm a freelance trainer in communication and psychology, meanwhile training a company, and also my sponsor, Success Dynamic Alliance. That's an international company specialized in psychometric analyzing. And today we selected 5 leaders that will present to you their way and their view on leadership and how they should accelerate their team and their vision behind them. Some of them will have a presentation, and some of them will just simply be interviewed by me. Today we have a program, and the first speaker will be Ricky Antonio, who is Chief Innovation Officer of UCoach. And the second speaker will be Dr. Ichan, who is a business advisor for state-owned companies, but also one of my colleagues in our other company. And then we have Mr. Gumilang, who is a serialpreneur, but also a diplomatic advisor for the government, so knows all about leadership. And then we have Professor Sohono, who is director of SCCIC, and also from the faculty Informatica at ITB. And then we have Mr. Danny Vira Dharma, who is a leadership and business executive coach with a lot of experience. And they will all share their visions on leadership. Every speaker will tell their story or interview, and after they are done, I will leave some questions for you to ask them. Sadly, saya belum bicara bahasa Benaya, so dalam bahasa Inggris, maaf. That's my handicap. Everybody speaks bahasa except me. So my apologies for that. I will learn very fast. So the first one I want to introduce himself is Mr. Ricky Antonio, who will share who he is. So Ricky, can you explain a little bit who you are and what you do in life?
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Can I speak in mixed language or I should speak in English?
No problem.
Boleh campur-campur ya, pada paham semua bahasa Indonesia. Alright. Oke, selamat siang semuanya. Kenalkan, nama saya Ricky.
The first one I want to introduce himself is
I heard feedback then.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Go on.
Alright, no worries. Oke, kenalkan semuanya, nama saya Ricky. Sehari-hari saya bekerja sebagai Chief Innovation Officer di UCoach. Kebetulan kami bergerak di firm coachings untuk bisnis, dan sekarang kita bergerak di coaching untuk UMKM. So far, we have a team around 16 people with us. With me, I not only taking care of the innovations, but also the technologies in the companies. So I create a website, I create their applications, even kalau kita bilang itu kayak namanya kayak Shopee-nya ya, atau Tokopedia-nya, kami buat juga di situ e-commerce-nya. Dan di tim saya ada 2 orang yang saya bawahi. Sebelum bekerja di UCoach, saya bekerja juga di perusahaan namanya Mindzel. Dulu bergerak di bidang HR, jadi saya kerja untuk di situ kita juga nge-lead around 16 people, ya kan, from developers, senior developers, juga ada sales, ada with people with different backgrounds gitu. So in terms of leaderships, I can share with you guys, I can share with Demi what I've experienced and how I handle those people in my establishment. Probably that's a bit of my introduction, Demi.
Okay, Ricky, thank you for your introduction. So, I want to talk about what your view is, Innovation Officer at UCoach. So I assume that it's a technical job. What
Hello, Demi, you're cutting out. Can you repeat?
What is leadership according to you?
What's leadership according to me? Leadership is not basically being a leader or who's in front doing the job, but leadership is basically doing it together, being a delegator, and also at the same times improving your teammates. It's basically a team building exercise where we work toward a goals or a common projects, where you probably as a leader know what to do and what's the end result should be. At the same times, in terms of doing the work and stuff like that, distributing the workloads is one of the main job of being a leaders. But at the same time, it's not just mainly doing that, but giving the explanation toward your subordinates on what this job is all about and how it can improve them and impact them in terms of either their life or whatever they do can impact the society. That's what we've been practicing in U-Coach. So everything that we do, everything that basically we ask people to do in our establishment, we need to explain to them on how this actually impact not only us, but also impact our client, our societies. Demi, is he there? Hello, Demi.
Looks like Demi disappeared.
Yeah, so far that's what I can explain. Okay, we'll wait till Demi, or should we wait you to come back? Ah, there he is.
He's back now.
All right, welcome back, Demi.
Still on mute, Demi.
Demi, you're on mute.
You just explained what leadership is important for you, but what is, according to you, the most important key to be a successful leader? The most important?
Well, leader is just a human being. You need to realize that. So being a successful leader means, like, you need to, first of all, know that we also as a leader have our capacities. We are not always right. So we need to be open to suggestions. But the mentality is mainly the thing that I think it's personally I think it's most important as being a leader. The mentality of being humble, the mentality of want to improve your teams to the next level, want to give, not just taking their works, but also want to give in terms of, like, if they do this, in either it's a reward or it's basically a skills that you can give to them, right? To basically while they're doing the job. That's, I think, the most important things. And the last part of being leaders is being a communicators. There's no such thing as a good leaders without a good communicators. So you need to basically explain what you need to, they need to do, what you really want, and how the outcome of a project should be in terms of their understanding, and also what the impact basically for them and for other people's out there. Yeah.
Clear answer. Thank you. So you talk about accelerating communication. So can you explain me what kind of strategy would you use as a leader to do that?
All right, I'm a big fan of what we call as a servant-based leadership. Servant-based leadership is not something like a top-bottom management. It's more listening to people's, like, listening their concern, giving an ideas. Every week we have what we call weekly meetings, where basically people can jump in and talk about what they've done, talking about their concern and stuff like that. And then we brainstorm together. We took about half days doing that in a Monday morning. And then during the week, I personally, as a leader, I will come to their desk and sit down with them personally, looking at their works and see if there's any stoppers in terms of what they're doing, right? And then giving them a feedback. And usually at the end of the weeks, what we do is like the whole evaluation of everything and talk to them, like, basically, this is just a sharing sessions, so everybody's can learn from everybody's. And that way, as a team, we're not only achieving our goals, but also we basically learn together to improve ourselves, and also learn from other people's mistakes in terms of our jobs. I think that's the basic skills that we need to have as leaders. Like, you really want to calm down, you really want to put your hand dirty, not just sitting up there and then, hey, this is the whole paperwork, just do it. I don't think that's will be very effective anyway.
Okay, but you talk about skills, so let me continue on that one. So, what do you think as a leader skills are most essential to use as a leader or to learn?
The most essential skill as a leader, there's no such thing as what we call the best leader or the excellence leader, but the most essential skills that we need as a leader is the listening skill. A lot of people that I know being leaders, they just want to hear, right? They like what they hear, they just being here. There's a two different, by the way. It's a English word and Indonesian word. In Indonesia bahasa we say mendengarkan is just mendengarkan, but in English there's two way of saying it's hearing and listening, and it's a two big difference. A lot of leaders just want to hear, but I think the best leaders they really want to listen. And when you listen, it's mean like you want to pay assertiveness, you want to pay attention to what they say. You can repeat on what they say. You can basically articulate the problems of what they say, right? Not just repeating the whole thing. And then you can basically help them to think the solutions. You can brainstorm with them. That's how listening process is supposed to be as a leaders. And there's no such thing as a very super knowledgeable leaders. We know Google is already knowledgeable, but leaders without the listening skills is just a locomotive that's deaf, right? Like they just go anywhere they want without any signage. Demi, right?
Yeah, true. Because you're actually saying that trying to understand what people truly mean is the most important skill a leader should have. So then you can act on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. And you are a leader of multiple organizations, as I know you. So we always are very proud when we are successful, right? So can you give me one example? What was your biggest success according to you? What made you the most satisfied?
The biggest success, I mean, for me myself, the biggest success for me is the biggest success of my teams. Like if my teams can basically create some things that the task at the beginning we said that it's impossible to do, right? People do that in the beginning, and then throughout the weeks, and we found out that okay, it is hard, it's complicated, but it's not something impossible because we are not doing it alone. We're with the team, we can brainstorm and stuff like that. That's I think the most accomplished thing that I can feel accomplished. It's not something like in terms of position or in terms of products that we already done, but if there's a task that's the most difficult task that at the beginning we said, oh man, it's really hard to do it, we don't know how to do it, it's impossible, and then those impossible become possibles. That's something that I think a big accomplishment. One of the accomplishment that I can recall is when we create this absence machine, the fingerprint machines that we put on phones, and it basically can track people's not only longitude, latitude, but also altitude. So we got three-dimensional place where people can check in and check out. So for example, you're in the office in 16th floor, you cannot check out in the lobby. You need to be at 16th floor to check out. A lot of companies, when they're doing that, they say it's impossible to do it. But we found out a way on adding an altitude meters and stuff like that to integrate with our programs to be able to solve the problems. And that's, I think, the biggest accomplishment that I can recall, Demi.
Okay, thank you for that answer. So I asked you about your success. So can you also give me an example? What is your biggest failure, if you want to be honest?
Well, every success coming from failures, right? Like you learn from your failures. My biggest failures, it was back when I was in Canada, I think. I used to lead a very small groups. It's only like 3-4 people in it with my boss. With that being said, because I'm the most seniors in the teams, I'm becoming very proud of myself. I'm becoming very bossy and stop listening. That's when I learned as a leader, you gotta be really good listeners. You gotta want to listen to your teams. You gotta want to know what happens there. You gotta put your hand dirty. At that point of times, I just I'm responsible for the whole jobs, so everybody just need to collect it to me. Meanwhile, okay, Demis left. He'll back in a moment. Meanwhile, I will just continue. So what I did to my teams was just asking them like, hey, this is your task. Please submit by the end of the days. And then, during the time, I just laugh with my friends. I leave the job, and it coming back to me that not only actually it ruined the whole teams, the whole communication of the teams, the objective didn't match. What I need to do is basically for the features actually doesn't exactly the features that being asked. In the other hands, the team becoming so unsolid, right? And it's really hard to manage anymore, and the environment become toxic. And that's when I realized that I need to be more assertive. I need to be more listening. I need to be more put on hands with the situations with my teams, rather than being just a boss giving them a checklist or task and then just leave it. So that's basically one thing that I can share with you guys. The biggest failures in my life as a leaders. Yeah. Meanwhile, we wait for Demi. Okay. Is Demi coming back?
I'm so terribly sorry. Somehow in the home is not.
All right. Demi, we can't hear you. You're still breaking up. Hi, Demi. Hello, Demi. Okay, if anybody have questions, please let me know.
So Ricky, meanwhile we are waiting for Demi, just
Yep.
wondering one thing, if I may ask, on from based on your experience, what are the complexity that you can find in your project? Is it because of the different background of the team, or because of the project itself is already complex, or whatever? Maybe you can explain to people around you.
All right. The one that's the most complex, I think, from the teams is basically different backgrounds. And as we know, people have their own egos sometimes, and that's actually a really hard thing to basically to say to people when they have their egos, because everything that you say will be blocked. And sometimes people learn to basically to listen, or to basically want to know more about the project and stuff like that, is when basically they say when something hit them really hard, right? Like when there's an accident or incidents, and actually in the developments, we don't want that to happen, because there's cost times the cost of everything's. And then the other part is like there are also some teams that basically, like team members, that they're very quiet, that they don't want even to give any voice. And that's also becoming really hard, because when you're very quiet and you don't want to give your voice, we don't even know, we don't have the feedbacks, whether they understand what to do, or whether they don't even know what they're doing. So at the end of the days, those are basically the main problems. I mean, like any problems that that I mean, like the company gave to us, or any task that the company gave to us, is actually solvable if we can communicate well. We can sit down together, put our head together there. But if one of the teammates doesn't want to speak, they just keep on quiet, or they're just not, the head is not there, or they have their ego to defend, then it will become more complicated. Even a smaller task, an easy task, will become difficult if those people are there to begin with. So yeah, I think that's the worst part. And it's a job of a leader too, to basically to break the ice between the teams. So meanwhile, we're doing all the tasks that we need to do. We as a leader have the basically the job, not only talking just about the task itself, but also talking to them as human, treating them as a human, so they can be more open. I think that's the key to eliminate these problems in the future, while you're working with the teams. I think.
Okay, thank you. Very well, Ricky. Sorry, my connection dropped in the home, on the office. Doesn't work always.
No.
Ricky, my last question for you is, you as an experienced leader, you're a young serialpreneur. That's how I know you. Do you have any advice for other leaders? What would be the most important tip that you give?
The most important tips that I can give. Well, knows that we as a leader is a human. That's the first thing. We are not always
Hope
perfect.
so.
Yeah, of course. We're not perfect. We don't know all the things around the world. Like, I mean, like we are not superpowers. That's the first thing. By knowing that, we become more humble to ourselves. We're more assertive, and when you are there, your job is not to make everything done the way that you want it, but your job is to make this team to go together, right, to the finish line. So don't just think about you. If you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with people. And going with people is not as simple as directing them, this is what I want, but collectively, collaboratively, you need to say, we, what do we want? How do we do this, right? There's always 1,000 ways to go to Rome, but collectively, which way do they choose? So it's not always us, but come back to them. I think that's my advice as a leader to leader.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have one question for you from Mr. Damar Pranadi. Mr. Damar Pranadi asked that some leaders always have difficulties to listen because of their top management assignment. And so from upstairs. So to see bottom up, they have difficulty to see bottom up solutions or satisfy the top leaders. Bottom up solutions might be in contrast to what the top leader wants, and meaning that you as a manager or director, in your case, chief innovation officer, the board decides something that is for you, that is how do you call it? Something that you need to do.
Yeah, the task.
And the task at hand, and that will make your task more difficult. How do you handle that?
First of all, I'm glad. First of all, I'm glad I'm in the establishment where I can talk to my leaders. We're pretty supportive for that, and especially it's like we're really open on the task and everything. But I've been to work in an establishment where my leader doesn't want to listen, and it's just top bottom managements where I can hear my some voice. Okay, it's basically a top button management where basically this way or the byway. And my advice on doing that is basically you as a leaders do the best that you can with your teams, but you as a subordinates, because we play two roles there. You have still the leader above you, and basically I will try to follow him, but up to some point, I will try to speak up to him to let him know, to raise my hand saying, hey, it doesn't work because our subordinates down there feel the pain, or, it doesn't make sense to them and stuff like that. I'll try to discuss it with them. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work and he just want to do it himself, I will basically, for me, myself, I'll move to the establishment where they can grow me too. Because as a subordinate, I also want to be growing, and as a leader at the same time, I want to grow my subordinates.
So what you're saying is actually you would defend your team to your superiors at all times.
I will try my best to do that, because I mean, like, in the workforce, we are not doing it alone. That's mean, like, you need the teams to make sure your work is done. And if you don't have the support of your teams, then that's mean you're done for the day, right?
Yeah, I understand. Okay, Ricky, I want to thank you for your time, because I also know that you have a close agenda. So thank you very much for your interview today. I hope to see you soon again.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, I'll be leaving early, so if any questions and stuff like that, please feel free to contact Demi or to me. Yeah, Demi have my contacts. So enjoy the rest of the days. Hope everyone's stay healthy. Yeah. See you.
Thank you very much, Ricky.
All right, see you. Have a good weekend.
So this was Ricky, who is the Chief Innovation Officer of UCoach. And we will go on with our next speaker, in this case, Dr. Ichan. Dr. Ichan is a business advisor for state-owned companies, government, and one of my colleagues. Ichan, I will give the show to you. Can you explain a little bit who you are to start with, or what you want?
Yeah, thank you, Demi. Can you see my slide now? Hello, Demi. Can you see my slide now?
Yes, I see it perfectly, John.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Iksan. My background is more to the as a team leader for the projects. I did more than 300 projects in Indonesia and more than 25 projects in overseas. So my project is more in between renewable energy, also the waste management, and some others like agriculture operations and so on. From my experience today, I would like to share with you. So this is just a sharing moment that how we see as between the boss and the leader. So this is always the questions that how we can distinguish these two things. So yeah, as a boss, when you have a boss, it's always they looks like know everything at all, and this is also the challenge when you see yourself is like full of the glass, and then you cannot absorb more. While if you are the leader, and then you always like to learn a lot from others. I would like to see myself that although I'm coaching also some of the startup companies in Indonesia, more than 300 already with Shell Lifewire, Medco Foundation, and some others. But I see that I learn a lot from them. So not only coaching them, but I also learn a lot. That's also interesting. And another thing that is also interesting from the boss perspective, that they talking more than listening, as I also mentioned by Ricky earlier. While the leader, they are listening more than talking. Some of the leaders, they talk a lot also, but they are also a good listener. Another one that if you are a boss, you're giving directions for the problem. So sometimes your team is not creative enough to make solutions of the problems, but it's more guidance from the boss itself. While if you are the leader, you are seeking solutions based on the problem itself. So you discuss on the team, you come up with the solutions, and then you find how to solve the problems. And most of the boss, they are criticizing and bullying their team members. And while the leader, they do a lot of encouraging and empowering. This is more interesting for me if I met a leader that they're encouraging people, empowering people. They give also opportunity to the persons of their staff to be able to grow. So most of the leaders, they give this opportunity, while the boss, they are more they're afraid to compete with their staff. And another point here that for the boss, they're also pointing out the weakness, while the leader is changing weakness to potential source. It means that if a good leader see the weakness is there on that team and they're willing to change it as a potential source for the team. So it is very interesting that how we could learn from others that to make the weakness become a strong point for the team itself. And another point that I mark here from some also discussions that most of the boss are giving orders. So it means that the team member has a lack of opportunity to think creatively about how we can solve the issues or bring the project together. While most of the leaders are providing coaching, they're probably not the best person in the team, but they definitely that the leader is the best team member that can lead the project. So they're aware of that. The leader aware that they are not probably not the best, but they are good in managing people. So when you do managing the team, you have to be able to see the strength and the weakness point of the team. And this is really from the leader perspective that they do also coaching how to improve the weakness from the team member. And the other one that we see from the boss, it is more depending their ego. That's also explained by Ricky earlier. And then for the leader itself, they see that they know that they are not perfect and they understand the imperfections of that, and they are willing to share and to improve that one. So the leaders see that their self is not a perfect guy, but they always like to learn and to improve based on the needs of the team members. And another one that we see from experience that most of the boss is focusing on themselves while the leader is focusing on the team. For the boss also blaming on others on the failures, this is really bad. But for the leader, they're taking responsibility on the failures. It's more like a hero. If you're the leader, you should be in front instead of your being behind, but you should be able to take all the responsibility when the failures come. And for the boss, most of the boss, they are demanding on the result, not care about the process, while the leader is inspiring performance and also focusing on the process. The boss mostly that they're knowing how it's done, while the leader is showing how it's done. So it's totally different that they do act and take the actions in front of the team member. And what is also important here, the difference between the boss and the leader is that the boss is most of the time they're taking all credits on success for their own, while the leaders are giving credits to the team. They try to encourage the team. They put most of the credits to the team member that really bring the success to the project. So this totally really a good persons. If you are the leader, you should be able be humble and then give opportunity to the other team member, not really arrogant guy. So this is really based on the background of your family probably that can bring this to the practice. And for the other one, the last one, that the boss, they are creating followers. Most of the followers, they are afraid of the boss because they are afraid to do wrong things, while the leaders, they're creating leaders. So it means that when you lead the team, it doesn't matter that if you make wrong decisions, but you learn from how you can overcome the weakness of your decisions. So that's roughly that we will see on these pictures that you can see on the left side that the boss climbing on the top, while all the team members fall down. While the leader there try to bring all the team together, not about the speed or not about the how fastest that we can be on the top, but how we can make all the team members to the top. So that's the difference between boss and the leader. And if you see that also, if you have a ship, and then most of the leaders, they are a good captain, They bring all the team members on board, not not the other way around, like a boss that they are blaming to failure to the other people. And you can see on the last picture here that the boss, they're pointing to the staff. They don't do a lot of things, but only sitting and then make the work become heavier. While the leader, they work together with team and show the leadership in front of others. So this is just a rough perspective that I would like to share to others. I give it back to Demi. Thanks, Demi.
Well, thank you very much, John. You actually answered all my questions that I asked Ricky before, except a few. Thank you for the explanation. So you're actually telling us that a boss and a leader are two different types of leaders, and which one is better according to you?
It depends. Yeah? If you are on the military, probably you need like a boss, because you have to work on. You have to, at some points you need a kind of a character of the boss, but most of the time we need more leader than the boss, because if we are talking about projects that also involve in when you have a type of boss, you cannot do a success, because most of the success of the project is really depend on your teamwork.
Okay, thank you. And John, I'm also going to ask you the same annoying question I asked Ricky before. You as a leader, you did a lot. You were also coaching a lot of startups. What do you consider for yourself as your greatest success?
My greatest success is because I also teach in some universities. My greatest success if I can change the mindset of one team member that they don't want to work on that project because of one of the reason, and then we can influence them to be able to being as a active project team member. I think that's a good success example for me, because okay. To be able to make a success of the project, for example, you need all the team members, like in the human beings, you need the arms, you need the legs, you need the head. So not everybody can do the head, which is the leader. But without the arms, without the legs, you cannot go anywhere. So if one leg is broken and they don't want to work, or they don't want to do their part of the activities, and we can it's also a failure of the whole team members.
Okay, good. And then talking about failures, in your own experience, what was your biggest failure that taught you the most?
Yeah, I used to work with different project private companies. I used to work also with the Bapenas team also for 4 years, and also for other state-owned companies and so on. The most painful for me, if the project failure, most of the time not because of the project itself, not because of the sources, and not because of the team member, but because of the wrong decisions of the boss that take initiative in front. So, for example, that if we are starting the projects, you cannot change the team, because the team, you can add the team, but you cannot change the winning team. If you change the team, it will make a delay on the starting up again, and how to make a synergy between them. So one of my failure experience is when I have to be in the project that changing a lot of the team members. So I had that experience, and I don't want to be in that positions anymore, because you are stuck in the middle. You cannot go anywhere because of the wrong decisions of the management. Yeah.
Okay, good. So that makes you stuck in the project, and then actually you have a challenge that you need to solve together. And most of the times the leader is not involved, right? Yeah. So I see there are a lot of leaders here in the list. What kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, they have their own style. They have their own experience. They have their own different type of projects that have been covered or different experience. My only advice to them that when we lead the team, we have to see in a two perspective way. So we have to see like a blade. Sometimes we have to be very stiff, but sometimes also we have to be very smooth. So we can use the knife for cutting out our hand, or we can use a knife for other good purpose. So please use your rank or your responsibility. And sometimes a good leader is not a person that, from my opinion, that a good leader also should be sometimes very stiff at some point. They have to fight for what they believe, but they also have to listen to the team member. Because if you are too soft, that also make a problem in the future. But if you're too stiff, it's also like another challenge will come. So you have to play yourself like playing a kite maybe. So sometimes you have to stretch, and sometimes you have to be really relaxed on that.
Okay. Well, Ichan, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time, because I know you're also someone with a really busy agenda like Ricky. You help a lot of parties, and I robbed you from your time today. And later today we have another session. So thank you very much for your time. Nobody has questions for you, so that's good.
That's good.
So thank you for your time. I will see you later.
Yeah, thank you.
Go
thank
to the
you
next
all.
speaker.
Yeah.
See you later. Our next speaker will be Mr. Denny Gumilang. Welcome, Denny.
Hi, Demi.
Introduce Denny a little bit. Denny is a man who is also a serialpreneur, and next to that, someone who is advising on diplomatic level to the Indonesian government, and therefore a different role and hat, like, for example, Ichan or Ricky. So, Denny, would you please introduce yourself to the people, who you are, and if you have slides, please present.
Maybe I introduce myself through the slide as well, Demi. Yeah, and also please kindly allow me to speak in Bahasa and English also, to make sure that the message will come clearly to the participant.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, ya, mohon izin Bapak Ibu sekalian. My name is Denny Gumilang. Saya di sini mewakili Rebrix Indonesia dan juga Cakragiri Indonesia. Saya mencoba menyampaikan leadership berdasarkan pengalaman sederhana yang mungkin saya punya. Ini adalah salah satu mungkin YouTubers yang Bapak Ibu tahu, namanya Next Carlos. Dia saat ini adalah one of a successful YouTuber. Tapi beberapa tahun lalu, saya sayangnya lupa tahun berapa, Next Carlos ini bersama saya dan dalam satu kompetisi startup nasional. Padahal Next Carlos saat itu di peringkat pertama dan kami di peringkat ketiga, tapi kami tidak bisa menang. Ternyata nasib bisa berbeda. Lalu apa yang terjadi pada saya dan istri saya? Sebenarnya ketika berbicara leadership, menurut hemat saya itu berupa practical skill yang mengantar kita kepada visi yang kita akan arah. Artinya memang harus fokus terhadap visi tersebut. Lalu juga karena memang satu BUMN Jerman mengasah kemampuan saya dalam advisory, peranan advisory ini sangat penting untuk kita bisa menjadi leaders yang bisa mempengaruhi ataupun belajar dari banyak orang. Perusahaan pertama saya dan istri saya adalah Rebrix, yang merupakan perusahaan eco building material. Mungkin lebih update bisa dilihat di beberapa media ataupun di Instagram. Jadi memang apabila Bapak melihat atau Ibu melihat gambar di depan, semuanya ini mengandung komponen sampah plastik yang digabung menjadi satu bahan bangunan Ini beberapa contoh lainnya dengan jumlah sampah saset plastik yang kami gunakan untuk bisa mengubah barang yang tadinya berserakan di laut, di darat, ataupun tidak ada nilainya, untuk menjadi barang yang berharga. Kami menyebutnya rejected plastic waste, dan ini artinya memang sampah multilayer seperti sampah saset, sampah bungkus Indomie, sampah bungkus minyak goreng, itu semuanya tidak pernah ada yang mau beli. Mungkin kami yang pertama kali membeli dari bank sampah, sehingga menggunakannya itu untuk menjadi bahan bangunan. Lalu bagaimana ini terkait dengan mimpi sebelumnya? Saat itu, saat National Startup Competition, I am becoming the lead of the startup at the time, and my wife is part of the team. And now in the Rebrix, my wife is the lead of this company, and I am supporting her as key advisor for the startup. So, jadi menurut saya, leadership itu tidak mesti selalu di depan. Kadangkala kita harus belajar dari sesuatu, seperti Next Carlos mungkin, ketika dia tidak berhasil dengan startup, dia punya satu langkah ke depan menjadi YouTuber. Begitupun dengan saya tidak mempunyai ego yang tinggi sehingga harus saya jadi pemimpin, tapi saya mencoba membackup ide-ide yang muncul dari istri saya, sehingga lahirlah Rebrix ini. Ini beberapa contoh lain Rebrix. Jadi memang usaha ini sangat berkembang. Ada beberapa, dan ini adalah produk Rebrix terbaru, sudah menjadi rumah. Kalau sebelumnya di bawah, sekarang ada satu rumah baru yang kami bangun, dan kebetulan Ibu Dr. Tine Gunawan ini adalah salah satu direktur lembaga donor di Indonesia, dan dia berani istilahnya, walaupun kami, kalau dulu paving block itu kami standarnya cukup ketat ya, kami ada standar dari Singapura, selain dari Kemenperin, ada juga dari Sukovindo, tapi karena yang bayarin bukan kami tidak mencantumkan di sini. Tapi Ibu Tine ini, walaupun kami hanya masih punya standar dari Kemenperin, Kementerian Perindustrian, beliau berani membeli karena tahu bagaimana kami mengolah sampah dengan mesin dan semacamnya. Lalu apa yang terkait leadership di sini gitu. Jadi memang kadang-kala apabila saya dulu bertahan dengan ego saya dulu punya visi, saya punya startup. Mungkin saya tidak akan seberhasil sekarang karena nyatanya punya 2 startup, satu Rebrix, satu Cakragiri. Nanti saya akan coba cerita tentang Cakragiri. Tapi tentang Rebrix, saya tidak mesti di depan ternyata. Saya membackup hal-hal strategis pada istri saya sehingga bisa kami berlari kencang untuk membangun satu perusahaan bersama. Lalu kenapa kami mengambil Rebrix? Karena kami mencoba melihat inovasi dan peluang yang tidak diambil. Ketika misalnya orang-orang berebut sampah botol, kami fokus ke sampah saset yang tidak ada yang mengolahnya. Dan inilah yang membuat keunikan dari perusahaan kami, sehingga kami akhirnya bisa berjalan dengan track record yang bagus. Dan oleh karena itu, leadership menurut hemat kami adalah bagaimana kami juga belajar untuk melihat peluang yang ada. Ini contoh yang pertama, paving block. Jadi memang sebenarnya pressure power-nya di atas 250 kg, competitive price, green method, dan jadi memang kami bekerja sama dengan saudara sepupu istri yang sudah berbisnis bahan bangunan 30 tahun lebih untuk membangun mekanisme yang sama. Dan ini produk baru, hollow block seperti Batako. Ini roster yang memang coba dibangun, dan ini contoh sertifikasi dari Kementerian Perindustrian, ini dari Singapura, lalu ini juga beberapa yang lain dari Singapura, ada lagi untuk dari Kemenperin tes yang lain untuk hollow block, dan ada dari Sukovindo tapi kami tidak bisa menyampaikan because the one who paid the Sukovindo standard is not us, so the other client who pay for that and they pay for this standardization and we cannot claim the result of the Sukovindo. But you can see from 2020 kami hanya bisa kami coba landscaper, bekerja sama dengan Kebun Kumara, Plastic Pay, lalu juga mendapat juara 1 Circular Innovation Jam. Tapi 2021 langsung melonjak. Media partner kami ini sebenarnya jauh lebih banyak. Tapi apa yang kami rasa sekarang, ternyata melakukan kegiatan sustainable development yang impactful, itu banyak orang akan tertarik. Jadi mungkin yang bisa kami ceritakan bahwa leadership ini bagaimana kita bisa mempengaruhi ke arah yang lebih baik. Jadi di sini kami coba collaboration dengan banyak pihak, beberapa di antaranya multinasional. Sebenarnya ada 3 award yang kami terima di akhir Oktober, November, Desember ini, tapi karena dalam proses artinya ada isu confidentiality yang belum di-launch dari pihak penyelenggara, kami belum bisa memasukkannya di sini. Tapi isu ini sangat menarik ketika kita berbisnis dengan isu yang sustainable development. Hal itu bisa membawa kita dalam proses leadership yang lebih ringan menurut hemat saya, karena saya tidak perlu capek-capek seperti dulu misalnya mimpi punya startup sendiri, lalu berkembang bagaimana gitu. Tapi ternyata klien-klien ini datang sendiri, dan semoga ini akan terus berlanjut trennya. Lalu terkait isu sampah sendiri, memang seperti yang disampaikan sebelumnya, saya di bagian bawah ya, saya sebagai advisor untuk Rebrix, tapi sebenarnya sebagai core bagi istri saya yang menjadi CEO dalam perusahaan ini, saya berusaha untuk support dia dalam beberapa aspek penting. Jadi ketika kembali ke slide pertama, bagaimana Carlos gagal dari National Startup Competition dan menjadi YouTuber, ini mungkin sisi leadership yang saya pelajari dan bisa saya bagikan kepada Bapak Ibu sekalian, bahwa ternyata kita tidak mesti di depan, tapi bagaimana memanfaatkan peluang dan bagaimana mengeksekusi peluang itu bersama-sama untuk kepentingan bersama, itu mungkin lebih penting. Terkait isu sampah, kami menghadapi kendala sebenarnya, karena banyak sekali kompetisi juga di dalam perusahaan-perusahaan sampah di Indonesia. So the competition is real, Demi, in the waste sector in Indonesia. So that's why we choose to bring the elephant not from the waste sector. So for example, Andi Simarmata is very well known on the planning sector, and also Tony Wage on the marine biodiversity, Pak Tony. So we try to build our portfolio bigger, not using the same platform as the competitors. That's also what we learn from this startup. So because we understand that if we only use the business as usual, the client will not come for us. So that's why we are focusing on the other sector. Ada beberapa hal lain yang menurut hemat kami sedang kami bangun. Jadi ada namanya Rebrix Sea, Rebrix City, Rebrix Village, dan mungkin kedepannya Rebrix Forest. Bagaimana bahan bangunan ini bisa digunakan untuk mengatasi sampah tidak hanya di kota, tapi di sungai, di laut, kalau perlu di hutan. Itu menjadi mimpi kami ke depannya, dan semoga kami bisa terus berkembang. Lalu, and then the second one is Cakragiri Energy Indonesia. So this is the other startup, another startup from the energy sector. So basically, the Cakragiri focusing on the database and research, advisory, project management, training, and certification. So this company is affiliated with one of the big companies, and also several small companies, and we have a targeted customer. This is the old customer, but there are 3 news. For example, Telkomsel, kita membangun beberapa tower berbasis solar PV di sekitar 200 atau 300, saya lupa, di beberapa daerah dengan perusahaan telekomunikasi. And then we also support Danida, Denmark, and also Ministry of Energy on other issues that maybe not mentioned here. Lalu bagaimana leadership membantu saya untuk bisa masuk ke dalam tim ini? Simple sebenarnya. Jadi waktu itu kami membangun suatu trust collaboration dengan beberapa orang di sini. Salah satunya adalah Pak Bambang, Prof. Ajis, and also Herman, supaya kami membangun bisnis bersama. Dan ketika kita bekerja sama, jadi ibaratnya kalau dalam konteks Rebrix, saya menjadi turun membantu istri saya. Kalau dalam konteks ini, kami berusaha bersama-sama untuk membangun satu perusahaan. Jadi memang di situ mungkin leadership lebih mudah bagi saya terutama, karena saya juga punya beberapa kesibukan lain, dan ada satu perusahaan lain juga di luar dua ini yang saya kelola, sehingga kita bisa memanage waktu dan juga memanage hasil yang mungkin baik untuk bersama. Jadi mungkin itu that's maybe leadership from my side, Demi. So how we can focus to our vision. Of course, we need to have practical skill to do that, and also how we can utilize the advisory skill. It means that we need to become the trusted person. We need to learn more how to listen also the others and how to achieve the vision together. And of course, how to shifting the risk, because if we are only the one who lead the company, maybe the risk will be bigger than before. So maybe also I will be failed like next Carlos in the previous national startup competition before, not like now. So maybe that's the sharing that I can share. I'm sorry if mohon maaf atas segala kekurangannya. Yeah.
No, very good, because you gave another side of building a business. First of all, you explained that with your wife you change positions, and then from the top position you go in the background while the company learn to manage themselves and the team grow actually. And you also explained very well why the harmony is needed, because you're in a niche market that has a lot of challenges here in Indonesia, and therefore you have to account on the personal skills of the team for both companies. So that's a different in-depth for leadership, but that's I think very interesting, Danny. So thank you very much for sharing that. So besides building a family company with your wife, because that's what Rebrix actually is, and therefore the harmony of the whole team would be an attempt to become successful. What would you say if I asked you what would be the most important soft and social skills for you as a spider in the web to make this a success?
Yeah, maybe the soft skill, is the skill on we understand other expression or comment from others. So because previously I worked with the community development, so it will be not easy task for you to jump into the community development if you are not listening to them. Yes. So maybe, I use the same skill when I deal with the government, also when I deal with the client or big companies, for example, also with the team inside of these two startups that link with my side. So basically, we need to listen more, careful thinking about that, and also express wisely about how to respond the condition that happened.
Okay. Thank you, Danny. I have no questions for the audience at the moment, but I want to thank you for your time. We go to the next speaker also for time limit, but everybody has a busy agenda because we're all busy entrepreneurs, right? Thank you for your time. Also, you're one of my colleagues, so we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, David,
for joining us in this. I make time for this.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Paisan. Thank you, Prof. Sufno.
Sama-sama. So we go to the next speaker. Our next speaker will be Professor Suhono, also one of my tutors, actually, my seniors, but also one of my close friends. And Professor Suhono will also explain about leadership. He is the driver between at ITB, where he educates and builds on a new future for Indonesia. That's why I admire Suhono, because Suhono have the drive to prepare the future generations into the new normal if we talk about smart city development. And there's only one expert for me in Indonesia, and that is Mr. Suhono. So Professor Suhono, can you please introduce yourself and install your slides?
Thank you, Danny. Good afternoon, everyone.
Sama-sama.
From another time with a different night or morning. Okay. I use ICCIC to promote the ICCIC. Yeah? Okay, I will share my file. It's not a file, yes, yes. Well, thank you for this opportunity to discuss with you in regarding leadership. And I try to, concentrate focusing on the society 5.0 with in regard to smart city or smart egg or smart people, smart infrastructure, smart mobility, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Who I like to ask you, who is the successful as the leader in COVID? Who is the successful who transformed our society in a COVID era?
The most successful will be the most creative.
This is one of the very simple question. Yes, I think in media social. When I before COVID, I'm komisaris PT KAI atau Indonesian Railway. I try to use video meeting with the Zoom or Google Meet. It is too difficult. I try to ask board of director, I to ask board of commissioners to discuss together, like this afternoon with the Zoom or something like that. But unfortunately, it is still fail to influence the board of director or ecosystem in a big company and also some organization using digital technology to make more efficient discussion. Fortunately, in COVID-19, we have transformed our meeting from physical meeting to digital meeting with a video conference like Zoom. So who led the digital transform of your company? CEO, CTO, or CIO? And of course, the answer now is COVID-19. It is one of our lesson learned. It's good lesson learned when we try to transform in digital learning and from luring to daring, from physical to digital-based learning. It is our hikmah, our lesson learned use in COVID-19 that we can use digital technology as one of our success transformation. Not yet full transformation, but still remain some question about the hybrid meeting, hybrid curricula in university. So we call it a smart transformation. Digitalization become smartization. Smartization is not just technology, but also people and process. Now, so how to transform the existing condition to becoming our objectives? This is our question in this afternoon. Yes, this is one of our history is I don't know why some people said that Suharno is a smart city in Indonesia, or a smart city father in Indonesia. But this I will try just simple tell you about. Yes, very simple. I try to transform with the society in technology, people, process, and also, of course, publication. This is one of our, of course, and I would like to tell also our technique or our approach when we try to influence the society to understand what is the smart city or transformation. Generating the node and connecting the nodes. This is one of our experience. We call it as a network-centric leadership. Network-centric leadership. how to create the node from some high competent or competent human resources becoming one node, and then how to connect each node becoming influence to other society, like in my experience in a smart city. This is one of the figure of the friend, and also get a very simple organization for the generating the node. I also expect in the millennial generation established with the, call it a connected generation. This is a good moment. I try to influence what is the connecting collaboration, content, cloud, and so on, becoming one of the framework. We call it generating the node and connecting the node. It's not so easy because there are a lot of challenges to connect, to collaborate each others. But this is one of our challenges to set up the community in smart city. Well, I also try to set up what we call it Garuda Digital Transformation Framework. Some people talk about the digital transformation as to make application in every sector or in every region. But digital transformation is about the people in the process and technology. So I will tell you about my framework from A, B, C, D to transform the transformation digital. We start, of course, with the prepare leadership and culture. There are a lot of example successful leadership in a smart city transformation, like Burisma. Burisma in Surabaya is very successful to transform the city, become from the the existing condition becoming more smarter and smarter. Smart city is smarter city. Not what is that? But Burisma can act as a leadership to transform the complex ecosystem from the situation from the quality of life becoming more better. It is and my framework start with prepare leadership and culture. How does digital leadership build digital culture, resource support, and commitment is one of these transformation in digital transformation. Some corporate governance, some corporate is very successful if they have a leadership strong in transformation, and also how to define the vision and strategy, to understand the market analysis, spatial analysis, politics, economic, social, technology, and SWOT analysis, and also, of course, the defined strategic objectives. And then technology is one of these enablers. Understand how to digitize the customer experiences, how to digitize the product and services, how to digitize the operation, how to digitize the organization. And when we try to transform our society, our organization, our corporation, we must have a plan and roadmap, plan, do, check, and act. Manage transformation project, manage change management, monitor and evaluate transformation result. This is for the corporate. But for the social organization, I think the different approach. Well, and of course, my T-shirt is Society 5.0. Yeah? I try to tell about the differences leadership before century, Society 1.0, Society 2.0, Society 3.0, Society 4.0, and Society 5.0. This is a different leadership role, I think. And also the technique or theory of the leadership changes more network-based technique. This is the important thing is Society 4.0, that the technology is an enabler, disruption. And for example, in the city, 15 years ago, the mayor worked in the city using Plusuan. You know Plusuan? Plusuan, every day mayor go to the city problem. For example, for the traffic jam, had problem in the situation, and also for the flood, for the problem in its infrastructure, or problem in the citizen, maybe only can reach for the 8 points in the city. 1 point, for example, from the road to a river to building, 1 point to 1 point is 1 hour. And then for 1 day, maybe mayor only can get for the 8 problem. However, the problem in the city is the number of the population. For example, Semarang with 1.6 million population. So the problem is 1 point, and the number of river, the number of building, and so on and so on. So if we use the people or only mayor, every day maybe only 10 or 15 problems solved. However, the problem is maybe 1.5 million. So using the technology like IoT, artificial intelligence, sensing, and so on, we can solve the city becoming efficient, better, cheaper, more speed, effective and efficient. This is approach for the Society 4.0 in the city. So leadership is change from the human to machine. Governance now is also changing from the only people becoming how to combination between the human and machine. And if we go to, for example, in AI, driverless car, driverless office, how the role of the leaders. And this is one of our challenge to overcome the problem in a society based on a machine base. If you know the number of worker in 2020 till 2030, there are a lot of job loss. McKinsey said more than 23 million job loss. And however, will be new job about 46 millions of 40 million new job, both using machine and the people. So what the role of leadership in the future? This is our challenges in a new Society 5.0. People is in above, technology is an only enabler or is an only title. This is our challenge for the leadership.
So it keeps changing.
2 minutes, yeah? Okay, 2 minutes, yeah? Okay, I think the leadership speaker before talk about what is the definition in regard to leadership. I think is you know about the leadership is able to see the present in term and the future while maintaining respect to the past, and how to influence the society so that can move to the new one condition, and what is the component: active listener, consistentness, empowerment, effective communication, persistent, consistent, and also relationship, team building, goal setting, creating. This is the old theory of the leadership, but we need the new network-centric leadership based on data, based on analytics, how to get the data, and then machine can change the decision, can act based on the data, based on the analytic. This is our our homework, our challenge for the hierarchical organization to hierarchical organization for the network theory and so on and so on. This is some issue on AI is one of these challenge in our new generation. Thank you. 15 minutes.
Thank you, Professor Suhono. So, Professor, thank you very much, because this is a different approach of leadership, how it evolves within the industrial areas, and also now with the new period of coming of blockchain and IE, what is really coming. And we cannot avoid that, especially with the new normal now, where everything is digitalized. One more thing, what is your most important tip for all the leaders here present?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, how to motivate is we can make a data. Data is our capital.
Data is our capital, okay. With building databases.
Data is our asset. Data is so how to get the data. This is important. Yeah,
We're working on that.
Talk about data. Decision by data. And
okay.
So this is AI is based on data.
Okay. Yeah, I can only agree on that one, because everybody's anticipating on that right now. Professor Hono, thank you very much for your valuable time for this and sharing your vision in short. 50 minutes is short, I know, but I will maybe do some single sessions later with all the leaders that spoken today. Thank you so much for your time today. And I have to be really rude, because we go to the next speaker today. The next speaker today will be Mr. Denny Wiradharma. Denny, welcome. You are for me the stranger we never met, only online a little bit. Just my close friends. I leave it up to you to do it in Bahasa or English or out of Indonesia. Welcome. Thank you for your time. I saw your profile and I wanted you as a speaker because you're quite interesting if we talk about, we have similar grounds of being an executive and a leadership coach, so I like that. So please introduce yourself. If you have slides, please show them. If not, I will interview you. I leave it up to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Demi. First of all, why don't we give Demi the applause icon, everybody, because I think Demi has done a great job in organizing everything and connecting us online. Thank you so much. And let's talk about leadership. I have slides ready. Hopefully, this will help us visually. Okay, so let me begin with this one. Okay, I trust that the slides are well on your screens. Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, before we start these 15-minute sessions, can I ask how many of you are leaders? How many of you are leaders? You can just probably click a thumb up button in your screen or in your Androids or in your laptop, probably. How many of you are leaders? Okay, let me check. Okay, please respond. Now, I'd like to begin with the question. What does leadership means to us? What does leadership means to you? And what does leadership means to me? According to John Maxwell, Dr. John Maxwell, my mentor, leadership is influence. But if I can add a word, I will say that leadership is ability to influence. First thing, we need to be able to influence ourselves. We need to be able to lead ourselves. That's leadership is all about. Because if we cannot control ourselves, if we cannot lead ourselves, then we cannot convince other people. For example, when Demi approached me to speak in this event, I think Demi is leading himself very well in showing that, you know, I'm trustworthy, I'm doing this for the goodness of people, and so forth and so forth. Take the opposite examples. If Demi is not able to influence himself, or like I said on the screen, he's under influence, probably under influence of laziness, under influence of ego, under influence of last minute things and so forth, then I don't think Demi will be able to influence me, influence Professor Suhono, Ricky, and the other speaker. Whereas to influence you to come and join us this afternoon. So the first thing is leadership is about to ability to influence ourselves. If we can influence ourselves, then the next thing is becoming much easier. You can influence others to work, decide, and act better because you have the credibility. You have shown them the examples. You have shown them the path, how to make better decisions, how to work professionally, how to act ethically. Then, after you influence yourself, you influence others, then you can influence the industries. You can bring your organization, you can bring your PT, your company to become the influence and leading in its industry. So that's my definition of leadership. How about you? If you have other things to say, please. I think we love to have the comments in the chat box, right, Demi? Yeah. So the people,
everybody is free to react. I
yes,
see you love
yes,
interactive. Me too.
yes. We'd love to see comments. What is the meaning of leadership to you? Okay. Okay. The second thing that we'd like to discuss is what is the important factors in leadership if a leader wants to be successful. If you want to be a successful leader, then what do you need to pay attention to? We have lots of leadership experts, John Maxwell, Dale Carnegie, Stephen Covey, and many other people. And I think if from my experience, I can I try to deduce to the 3C. If you're taking notes, the 3C stands for, first one is clarity of destinations. Some may call it as sufficiency, but I will call it as clarity of destinations, meaning that you are going from the conditions that you don't like to the conditions, another condition that you like better. For example, some of you as leaders, you are in the condition whereas where your voice is not being heard by the board of directors. You are becoming a GM or directors that is belittled by your boards of directors. That's your condition. What is your destination? We need, if you want to be successful, you need to be clear of your destination. Whether you want to, the destination will be, you want to be heard or you want to pay revenge to those who belittle you. There's two different things. You need to be clear about your destinations. The second C will stand for, if you want to become a successful leader, is clear communication. Yeah, in terms, we have been in the same storm, this pandemic, for almost 2 years now, and policies in every nations keep on changing within hours, within days, within weeks. As a leader, we can be unsure. We can, CAN, we can be unsure, but we cannot be unclear. So, for example, when we have our first PSBB, social restrictions, I will say to my team that I don't know how to react. I don't know how to do in this thing, but for this, I'm clear. For the next week, we will do this, this, and this. Remember, friends, as a leader, we can be unsure about something, but we cannot afford to be unclear. The third one will be credibility and integrity, of course. If you are trusted, if the team trusts you, you are on the right path to success. Okay, now that's I think that's answer your second question, right, Demi?
Definitely.
Okay, okay. Now, hopefully, yeah. I think I'd like to discuss this. For example, let's talk about the C2, clear communications. Okay. Hopefully, we still have time. Take for example, communication, clear communication. Why do people need to listen to you? If we have Demi here, we have Professor Sono, we have, I think Ricky has left, Pak Iksan, Pak Denny, on my screen, we have Pak Sahala and the other friends, Pak Derni. Why people do need to listen to you? As a leader, why people need to listen to you? Can somebody answer the questions? Demi, as a leader, why people need to listen to you?
I will explain a little bit later about how I see that, but why do people need to listen to you is very important, and most importantly is not really listening, but understanding.
Understanding, okay.
Different definition of listening.
Okay.
Like Ichan explained before, you have a difference between hearing and understanding.
Hearing and understanding, yeah. Okay, yeah. You listen to only to hear the voice or the sound, and understand the message, right?
Understanding is agreeing. Agreeing leads to motivation. Motivation leads to participation. And participation leads to self-leading.
Yes. Now, as a business coach and as a scientific coach, the directors or the business owner usually answer this question very simple, because I paid their salary, because you are working for me. That's it. That's it. Now, the problem is with clear communication, you have many reasons people listen to you. People listen to you because of your relationships, because you have good relationship with the team, with the stakeholder, and so forth. You have people have reason to listen to you because you have done something good in their life, because you have sacrificed something for their behalf. Okay, probably they listen to you because you have good insights. For example, when I listen to Pak Denny on rubrics, I really listen to what he has said because it gives me insights. Probably you listen to someone because they have the abilities to help you, and or abilities to make your life worse. you need to listen to those people. Or you are listening to people because of the characters, because he is or she is trustworthy, is humble, is not bossy, then you want to listen. Because of relevance. For example, if I'm a cancer survivor, then people with cancer will listen to the story that I'm telling them because they have the relevance. And the last one is about conviction. Sadly, my friends and Demi, of course, Demi is also my friends. Sadly, many of us only use one or two skills on the screen. Many of us only use abilities and convictions. Many of us is only using insights. But we can train for more. Are you sharpening your skill? For example, this November, probably you want to add another 2 for your communication skill. That's I will stop on that one. And then acceleration strategies. Demi is asking me, what strategy do you use to accelerate your team and improve their development and results? Now, if I want to accelerate my team, I will use 3 strategies. Okay, first one, bad apple will ruins the everything. So I need to fix and upgrade the recruitment process. Okay, it's no use you give your team lots of training if you if you don't fix your recruitment process. Because if the people coming into your team is not the right one, then you have trouble. That's it. John Maxwell will say that you cannot turn he says you cannot turn chicken into eagles. You cannot send ducks to eagle school. That's it. If you want to have eagles, you need to upgrade your recruitment process. Then your team development will be much more accelerated. Second one, make everyone get in the zone and stay there. I talk about your strengths. Many of us are more sensitive about mistakes. Many of us is more sensitive about our weaknesses. Hey, during this presentation, I forgot about this one. I'm talking too fast and so forth and so forth. We are so sensitive about the mistakes and the weaknesses that we have. And that avoiding us from knowing our strengths and being very good in that strength. So if you want to have your team accelerated in their development, make sure everyone know their strengths and sharpening them. Then the last one will be succession as KPI. Now, when I talk about succession, people will say, but this is the top of the chain. We don't have any other career level on top of us. Okay, there will be only one director, there will be only one GM. So how can we do successions? Now, take approach as succession as KPI. For example, succession in a certain job, not the position. For example, a manager will say that I want to train you to succeed me in the analytical jobs. Then you will have leaders grooming another leaders. Okay, so that's what I can share today. Any other things? Oh yeah, last one. Social skill and soft skill needed for effective leadership. I think in 2022, next year. I've written an article on this one. It will be published, I think, this November. On the soft skill for effective leadership, next year will be a lot. We will have more incident and accident in the business world. Okay, supply chains and global warming and so forth. So we will need self-motivation and wellness, peace of mind, and so forth. Coping with uncertainty, that's a soft skill. Work plan development, kind of project management, and asking the right questions. For social skill, to be able to relate to others, we will need to have empathy. I think Ricky is using the word self-leadership. We can also use the word empathy, humility, coaching, of course, empowering, training others for certain skill and certain attitudes, and motivating different personalities. I think that's all that I can share. I return the stage to Demi. Thank you, Demi.
Thank you very much, Danny.
Yes.
A lot of insights and also a good approach of leadership. Thank you for your preparation for that.
Thank you.
And one more thing, if you look at leadership in general, right? Because you explained your vision about social skills, what's important to within your vision or the John Maxwell vision. But if you have a tip to all leaders here, for example, Sahala is a trainer for government people. Baby Geraldine, I see him here, is also a leader and professional coach like us. What would be a tip for them from your perception, the most important one for good leadership?
For now, I will say that let's call it a sharing. Yeah, it's not a tips. Yeah. I mean, tips meaning that I know.
Just your personal view. Don't make it too professional because we're all here on our own behalf, right?
I will say that we all need to know our strength and positivity more. And we need to close our ears from focusing on the negative sides of our leaderships. Again, that I think if we use the Pareto's law, 80% of our time is used to fix things. How about if we use those 80% time not to fix things, but to know our strength and amplify the strengths? Then your strength as a trainer, your strength as an executive coach, your strength as a leader will in time cover all the mistakes, or will in time covers all the weaknesses that you may have.
Okay. Thank you very much for that view. I like it. Danny, thank you very much for this time, because I'm going to do a little bit about my own vision. We're going to do a session later if you want. I want to do it more time, of course. Today is just a short introduction who we are, and I'm going to explain a little bit about my vision in leadership, but also a little bit from the sponsor in the end. So thank you much for making time for this. I really appreciate it, and wow, I like it. I love it actually. Yeah, and it's all speakers are really amazing. And that's also my goal today. I wanted to put in totally different leaders with a totally different perception, because everybody always generalizes leadership. But in my opinion, every personality is different. That is influenced by our phenotypes, our environment, and therefore we all shape differently. And therefore we have millions of different styles. And not everybody really understands that, because we love to put it into 1 or 2 or 3 categories. And that's actually makes you blind for good leadership sometimes, because we only do it in our own perception, right? So thank you, Danny. I will do a little bit about myself. So everybody here, thank you very much for being here. I'm going to do a little bit more about leadership. So I'm going to share a screen also from my own leadership training that I professionally give. I'm also a trainer. So you heard about leadership. Leadership is, for me, about behavior. Behavior styles like we have in the DISC methodology, but also in profiling for psychology. There are so many different methods to categorize leadership, but also your behavior style. Measurement tools are very important, but also your own way. I will explain a little bit about myself therein. I grew up in an entrepreneur's family, and my family, we were communicative, not so skilled. So when we had a meeting, what we're going to do, we usually end up in emotional conflicts and literally throw each other against the wall. And the one that won, that was the one who had the veto. And then we're going to do that. So later, when I became a professional CEO and advisor for, in this case, Dutch governments, local governments, and also bigger companies, I learned that was not the way. So we needed to be diplomatic. And exactly, your leadership will then evolve in what you learn and how you see things, and you can become objective. And for my learning curve, it's what that I learned that communication and understanding others, then called listening by questioning, is the most important thing to do. Imagine that you can tell your staff what to do without telling them, making them understand. Danny accentuated that listening and understanding. That's very important. And what important is that you are an influencer. An influencer means a good manager that manages everything so well, or a boss or a leader, depending on how you see yourself, is actually not needed within the company. As an influencer, this means, in my perspective, that you motivate and guide the organization and the team and the results into an upward trend by strategic influencing. I made an own model from my own perspective by macro, macro, and micro level. I made this methodology myself because I believe that sometimes you have to be the leader, sometimes you have to be nobody, and sometimes you have to be the boss. And I remember the question that was asked to Ricky, what if your superiors demand something from you as a leader that is at that moment urgent and cannot be changed, well, so be it. That's the moment that we are the boss. So that's why we do meso, macro, micro level. You have to create self-managing staff. So meaning people that know what to do, how to do, mostly manage it themselves. And as a good manager, you can do that in your document control, by procedures, and also by the way you manage your own time. And so if we do that in your 3 types of leadership, in your involvement as a person, every time a different mask, we would say that meta communications, those are decisions that have to be made and have to be followed, and because it ensures your strategies, because we are leaders and sometimes we simply know best. And there's nothing wrong to being confident or having a big ego at that moment that you know what's needed. And that's also why you are the leader. When you talk about macro management, that is the position that the leader takes part of the team. Meaning we are in a meeting, we have our management or maybe our staff in the meeting, and that meaning we are a team and it includes me. And that means not that I'm above it. And so when we have goals to achieve, like sales targets, marketing, those kind of things, maybe procedures, maybe problems that can be handled within the responsibility of the team, that means we are in a democratic situation. And micromanagement means actually very simply, you don't have to be the decision maker always, but you have to coach the people in the team there where they want to involve you. So let them work as how they want to work. For example, everybody have a job description, and we make those job description to decide what are the responsibilities and the tasks for this staff member. And we also need to trust on that instead of walking in the office all day telling them what to do. Yeah, of course, if they need to do something outside of that, but we should trust our team that they can fulfill those tasks without us managing them, because that's why we hired them. And so this is a little bit about meta, macro, and micro. I have a whole setting of that in my formal training, but there I go in depth and also lead the leaders how to do that and how to use that and implement that as well in your hard skills as in your soft skills. Myself, I believe in communication. So communication is very important. The biggest challenge that we have as a person, and not only as a leader, but also as a team, part of the team, is that we are all educated within our own perception. And our perception is shaped by our character, a genotype, and also by our phenotype. And like I said before, I used to be raised in a very emotional environment, and my first jobs were also in construction. And in construction, we have this way of emotional expression the whole time. And then later in the office, I discovered that things should be more rational. And if you look at Indonesia, and I come from Belanda, then you see the difference. In Indonesia, things like status, respect, but also family, honor are still very important in the hierarchy. So sometimes the boss is just the boss because he is, and we need to show that respect. When we go to the other side, when we say in Belanda, it's more like we organize it, and human resource management is actually the heart of the organization, and the shareholders are the one that taking the money and making decisions based on that. So for me, it's a new learning curve how Indonesian people manage things differently. So that's what I have to say about it. And I want to thank everybody here that you were there. And we will make some new seminars in the near future, maybe also what more aimed on the speakers that we had today. So Ricky's unfortunately already gone, but Dr. Ichan, thank you for being here. Professor Suhono, thank you for being here. Danny Most, thank you for being here. Pak Denny Gumilang is sadly not here anymore, but also thank you for being here. Is there anyone that have a question? Please ask me. I would answer almost everything except my pin for my BCA. And for the rest, you can ask me anything. And I will also unmute everybody is able to unmute themselves right now. So yell around, no problem. If you want to put your camera on, then we can see each other for a moment. That will be good too. Thank you for being here. Ichon, thank you for sharing this your session. Danny also. Sahala.
Thank you, Demi.
Sahala, it's an honor to have you here because I know you also waste your time on an online seminar. Professor Sohono, thank you so much.
Ya, sama-sama.
Terima kasih Pak Salah, Pak Sono.
Terima kasih Pak, sama-sama.
So, Ichon, what is your experience? What do you think of this session?
Mungkin bahasa Indonesia ya, mungkin
Ya,
next time ya.
Siap, betul.
supaya Demi bisa belajar bahasa Indonesia lebih bagus.
Saya tahu bahasa Indonesia, tapi belum pernah bicara. So, what do you think about this session? What is your overall opinion?
I think we need to get more input from the audience also, that what kind of experience that they have, because all of us used to have a boss, used to have leaders, should have also own experience during leadership. So I would like to hear actually from the audience more.
Okay, Sahala, can you answer that question from Dr. Ichon, because you are here as audience and a leader? Mungkin bahasa Indonesia oke ya?
Oke, jadi dari yang saya lihat tadi memang saya kan menulis tadi ya, kasih notes bahwa sebaiknya bahasa Indonesia disampaikan dalam forum ini. Ya, karena belum tentu semua bisa berbahasa Inggris.
Oke.
Ya, jadi tentu lain kali bisa lebih baik lah ya. Yang kedua, catatan saya banyak mengajar leadership ini, yang kurang di Indonesia itu langkah-langkahnya. Jadi yang diajarkan itu hanya bagian per bagian, misalnya kita mengajarkan mobil, ini ada setiur, ini ada ban, ini ada apa elektrik segala macam. Jadi dia diajarkan itu partnya. Padahal sebenarnya untuk yang muda-muda ini, kalau dia memimpin sesuatu, bagaimana langkah-langkahnya? Ya, jadi itu yang kurang. Ya, kalau saya selama ini saya ajarkan itu pertama, kalau Anda memimpin sebuah grup, tentu pertama Anda harus tentukan apa misi dari grup Anda ini. Yang kedua, bagaimana kriteria sukses dari grup Anda ini? Tentukan kriteria suksesnya. Yang ketiga, tentukan apa sasaran dari grup ini. Jadi ada visinya di sana. Yang keempat, bagaimana program kerjanya, strateginya. Baru komunikasikan, dapatkan komitmen. Langkah-langkah seperti itu yang saya lihat kurang. Dan itu sangat dipentingkan oleh yang muda-muda ini. Ya, jadi kalau langkah-langkah itu mereka dapatkan, pada satu ketika mereka memimpin, mereka udah tahu, oh begini loh langkah-langkah saya. Nah, itu saja pendapat saya. Saya mengikuti banyak webinar leadership, saya lihat itu kekurangannya. Jadi ya saran saya kepada Pak Demi, perbanyak itu Pak langkah-langkahnya itu, karena itu yang paling nanti diingat. Kalau saya memimpin, bagaimana langkah-langkah saya? Kira-kira itu aja pendapat dari saya ya. Terima kasih.
Ya, makasih Pak Salah. Ya,
Ya.
betul, saya setuju Pak Salah. Mungkin pengalaman itu juga tidak bisa diajarkan satu orang ke orang lain, pasti beda, karena pengalaman juga berbeda-beda.
Ya.
Secara pengalaman, secara umur, kematangan, dan juga kedewasaan itu kita juga berbeda-beda. Nah, ini kita perlu belajar dari semua nih. Dari hal itu sebenarnya mungkin secara umum nanti mungkin Demi bisa buat guideline yang lebih ringkas ya, karena guideline itu kan hanya sebagai kisi-kisi ya, sebagai gambaran kasar, tapi intinya ada di kita semua. Mungkin itu Pak Salah tambahan saya.
Baik, terima kasih ya. Hanya masukan saja dari saya. Baik.
Ya.
So, Danny, are you still here?
Hello, me? Yes.
Yeah, you. So, Danny, this is your first introduction with me in one of my interactive sessions. I also like interactive session. Sahala joined in the past one of my information events about communication.
Yes.
So I usually do not admit people without camera. I usually want to make it interactive, right? And it's like a classroom, right? Yeah. If we are in a meeting room or in the classroom, we also do not hide behind the door, right? We open So this is also how I see this, especially when we talk about the new normal, meaning this is the new way to meet. That means also we need to make chemistry this way, right? And if people don't do their makeup or those kind of things, I didn't do my makeup today, by the way, and I put my on. Anyway, but Danny, what is your experience today? What do you think of all the speakers and in general, and what Sahala gave as comment, because it was very sharp?
Yes, I think this is an excellent one. Meaning that I don't know how much money you spend on marketing, or probably you spend kosong on marketing. But if you can gather, quite numbers of people for this event, now this is a great start.
Yeah, it's always fluctuating, right? Because when I do for success dynamics, for example, for the psychometric analyzing, sometimes we have 800 people, 100, sometimes 2, sometimes 10. It's depending on the time, and I'm still how do you call that? Still learning the Indonesian way, right?
So this is good. This is good. This is good. Meaning that I once read something that if you have one negative comments, you need to have 2 positive comments.
Yeah,
because that's how we live. We need to appreciate the positivity that you bring, and I think this is good for 2 reasons. First, with 0 investment on marketing, you have used your network to gather people, and you pick a topic that is inspiring people to know more. If you see the comments on from the people, from the friends, they will say that we can be more specific, we can get more specific topic and so forth, meaning that it arouses their interest.
Yeah.
For a beginning session, this is very good. This is very good.
Thank you very much. Actually, the reason I did this session is because, first of all, I wanted to give my friends a podium. Second of all, I am now training Success Dynamic Alliance. I am helping them setting up the marketing. They are busy with psychometric analyzing, and in a further stadium, like I already showed you, right? Where I want to grow is that there are different kinds of behavior styles, but it also means there are different kind of leadership styles. And actually, I want to also for my own training and my own methods, because I actually do not believe in measurement methods like this methodology, because I'm a psychological profiler myself. But I also understand that people that do not have my knowledge, they need the tool, right? We all agree that social skills and soft skills is essential, especially for these kind of things. And so where I want to grow to is that, like for example, with you or with Ichan, or maybe even with Sahala in the future, or with Professor Hono, let's do a session profiling your style and profiling your behavior, and see if these methods align with who you really are. In my opinion, 90% should be effective. I don't know how about you, but myself, I've been headhunter, recruiter more than 15 years, but also troubleshooter for larger companies. So I had a lot to do with knowing what kind of meat I have in my backup, how we say it in Blanda, vlees in de kuip. And so what kind of people do I have here? And the most important thing is you have to know it's split second, because one word wrongly, they will use it against you, they bury you, because that's the world we are in if you're on the higher level, right? Yes. So with success and with trial and error, I learned to profile people in 10 seconds with 80% accuracy. And that experience brought me to a level that I can actually guess by a picture who you are for 80% accuracy. And sometimes even go into your past and into your future based on what I see. And normally people call me arrogant and having a big ego, but what people don't know about me is that I'm especially very confident. And that doesn't mean I have a big ego or arrogance. It means that I know what I'm saying, and I'm sure that I'm saying.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? So if I put it to you, when I saw your picture, when I saw who you are, same with Ichan, but also Sohala that I learned before, most important thing that I want to see when I do this kind of things is integrity.
Yes.
And I want to see compassion, that you are willing to help others. Ichan, for example, I met him as a really dominant guy. No bullshit, no cut the crap. That's her favorite words. But if you look in his eyes, this guy wants to help everybody.
Mm.
And that is more important than how you present yourself, right? Sahala is the same. Sahala is very critical. And when I met Sahala, he was really, how do you call that? Laid back, right? And now I see Sahala really pushing himself into the screen, saying what he wants to say. And it makes me proud of you, Sahala. So you really worked on your attitude online, right? It's cool to see, right? And other people should also have that. And Denny, I met you for the first time, and I hope we can learn a lot from each other, because that's something we always do, learn from each other, right? And I saw some people commenting, Debbie, can you put your camera on, please?
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm currently driving.
No problem. Then I just have a question, because I saw your comment in the chat, right? Can you explain a little bit, what is your opinion about this session, your first impression?
Right. So I initially commented that it's a great variety. I was surprised with the scope of, the industries and the experience that we just had squished into a very short amount of time. So it's a great way to, start to see what people really need. But in addition, sometimes, it takes a little bit of specific guidance for people to really identify what will really help them in terms of leadership. So I myself lead a team of, a few people, but I've seen how giving them specific guidelines is really effective in terms of their work. So hopefully in the future, there will be more sessions that are quite specific to either each industry or each leadership challenge. Thank you.
That is indeed the goal. And I have one more question for you, Debbie. And I'm going to ask some more people also. Debbie, my mission today was actually to show the people in the audience what kind of diversity of leadership there are, and that leadership is never the same. Did I make you aware of that today?
Definitely. Mission accomplished then.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you next time also.
Thank you so much.
Damar, are you here?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Damar,
Nice to meet you, Mr. Demi.
same questions for you. What do you think about this session? What's your opinion?
Yeah, this is overestimate than my expectation, because I believe that there are a lot of leadership training, but this has different taste of leadership. As mentioned by Debbie, it has like various leadership styles and various backgrounds, and yeah, I learned a lot today from the speakers. Thank you, Demi.
Okay, thank you very much, Damar, for joining us, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And, Johannes, are you here? Because you're also one of that was on the chat.
Yes, I'm here.
Johannes, same question to you. What is your opinion about this?
Yes, it's quite interesting sessions. I see there's a lot of different perspective about leaderships. And before, I don't think it will be in one session, but it's quite, I think this good sessions. So you have a snapshot from every different angle what is mean by leadership. So it's more than what I expect from these sessions. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for joining, and thank you for the compliment. And if anyone else wants to say it, then I'm going to go to closure. And for the YouTube video, I go to closing the session. Ozzy, I saw your camera go up, on and on. I think Ozzy already left. So Sahala, Ichan, and other people present, I'm going to close down. I'm going to play the sponsor video, because that's why I get paid, right? No, I should have said that. Anyway, no joke. So I will close it, and I will put on the sponsor video. And I hope I see you all next time. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to be speaker in the next session, please contact me. You have my contacts, because I want to do a selective session again with 5 speakers in short. And maybe also, as Debbie requested, and I also really agree on that one, do one-on-one sessions with some of the leaders and more into a talk show setting than this. Thank you all for being here, and see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Hope to see you soon, Olaf.
Okay.